Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope everyone is well. So today I just wanted to make a video just to kind of quickly talk a little bit more about the RFK Jr. situation with him now running as an independent instead of a Democrat. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys remember this or looked into this information before, but there was an independent named Ross Perot who ran in the 90s. And he ran twice actually. So in the first time, I believe was 1992, he actually got 19 million votes, which is just about 20% of the population. He didn't get any electorals because his votes were kind of spread out all across different states, so he didn't get enough to actually take any state over, but he did do some damage by getting 20%. And in that election, he hurt the Republican Party, and because he was like more on the right leaning, whereas RFK Jr. is on the left. But because he hurt the Republicans in that election, the Republicans obviously weren't too happy about that. And the Democrats weren't exactly happy about an independent running either, because they knew that then the Democratic candidate, which was Bill Clinton at the time, would have to debate two people who were both kind of on the right side of things. So there was a benefit for both of these major parties to get this guy out of the debates. So in 1996, the Republicans and the Democrats, these two virile enemies apparently, got together to essentially make rules to make it much harder for Ross Perot to debate. For example, making it you have to have 15% in the polls in order to get in the debates. And I'm sure we all know that some polls are very inaccurate, so even if Ross Perot did get over 15%, they were just going to tell everyone he didn't, and therefore he couldn't get into the debates. And in 1996, instead of growing on his vote totals from the earlier election, he actually lost a lot of votes, and he went down from 19 million to 9 million. And then the Democrats still won, and then he kind of stopped running because he knew that they were going to just try to block him every chance. Every time he got any momentum, he knew that the Democrats and the Republicans were going to work together to try to block him from debating, and that's very important to be in those presidential debates. A lot of people watch it, and a lot of people who are on the fence can be persuaded just by that one debate. Now, the one thing I will say about this, it wouldn't shock me if they did it again to RFK Jr., but if Donald Trump, after all of that he said about the Democrats and Joe Biden and how they're a cult and all that, which is true, if he then decides to work with them to block out another candidate, that would be the biggest mistake he could make. Because he has to remember that a lot of people who are going to vote for RFK Jr. would vote for him second. And you're going to piss a lot of people off, potentially tens of millions of people off, if you work with the Democrats after all of what you said. After all of this, oh, I believe in free and fair elections. If you then stop someone at their chance for a free and fair election, you're a gigantic hypocrite, and a lot of people who now wouldn't be able to vote for RFK Jr. or wouldn't know to vote for him would simply stay home because they're not voting for you now either. They're not going to vote for Biden, but them staying at home essentially is a vote for Biden, and that's your fault. That would be on you. You cannot work with the Democrats in a way like this, especially after all you said. Especially with the free and fair election stuff that he still is complaining about. I want a fair and free election. Okay, RFK Jr. deserves one too. Now, I don't know if the Democrats by themselves can block RFK Jr. from debating. I would think they would need both parties to do it. And if that's their move, then I hope Trump loses, and he deserves to lose. Because that would just show how much of a hypocrite he is. I mean, we already know he kind of is, and he is a liar. That being said, people like me, my first choice would be RFK Jr. If he dropped out or he wasn't available, I would vote for Trump. If Trump works with Biden to block RFK Jr., I'm not supporting anyone, which essentially is a support for Joe Biden. So Trump needs to be really, really careful here on what he does. If he really believes in free and fair elections, he will let RFK Jr. debate and not work with the Democrats to block him. He cannot do this. Be a gigantic mistake, and I don't want another 4 years of Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama, whoever they're going to push. I'm tired of these Democrats. I'm tired of Republicans too, which is why I'm voting or supporting RFK Jr. But, I mean, it would just show how disgusting and corrupt. We already know both parties are disgusting and corrupt. But to then do that to someone who has the name of a Kennedy, like, that family is political royalty. And then to block someone like that, doing it to Ross Perot is bad enough, but if you do it to RFK Jr., and again, it would piss off a lot of people, but because he wouldn't get to debate, there would just be so many people who just wouldn't vote for him. And that would be a shame, because he's the only one who could really change things. And not just in America, but in Canada too, where I'm from. What the United States does influences us a lot. So, you know, it is very important to us that you guys get a good president down there. And then hopefully we can get a good prime minister up here. As you guys probably know if you've watched my channel, we have a pretty lousy prime minister. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think Trump will work together with Biden to do this? Would you be as upset as I would if he did? Would you still support him as your second choice, etc., etc., etc.? I always love reading and responding to your comments, and I really, really appreciate it when you guys participate like that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back shortly with another video.